perfect. Alright. So, hey Christian, how are you? Alright. So we're here and we're talking about your latest tape. Go ahead and tell the people what's the name of your tape.
Moment of Clarity. It's just a diary full of personal and introspective stories in a whole, basically.
Okay. That's cool. So at this point, you feel that Moment of Clarity fits the title of your project. Probably what many people don't know is that you were working on this project at the same time of your last semester in college. So you were at a finishing point, and then you hit this point where things are becoming a little bit more clear, knowledge is becoming a little bit more understanding. So can you expand about the process of putting this project together during your last semester of college, and how it probably ties into the name of the project?
Coming into my last semester of college, I had a lot of goals set in mind. I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted to grow more as a man, and I wanted to define myself more as an artist. And I just knew that. I said it before with my previous mixtape. Like I said, yo, I'm gonna do this, and if this doesn't work out, this is it for me. But I grew so much from Project 2 to Project 3, and then learning what I learned from Project 3 to Project 4, I just knew that I was a lot more comfortable in the sense of being able to make what I want to make. I didn't feel forced of having to do the status quo in a sense, and I wasn't driven by complete anger. I've always stated before that I've always felt like a Wale, a chip on my shoulder, and I felt like I didn't get my credit or whatever. So I was very driven by anger. And with this project, or going into this project, I just wanted to be able to just finally completely tell my story from a calm, genuine, humble perspective. So going into my last semester, I had been through 2 relationships when I dropped my first initial project, and my third project. I went through 2 breakups. I went from just going back into the whole the male thing of I'm just out here fucking, I'm just out here just living my life. Females come, females go, and I just try to take everything that I was going through in that moment of I'm free now as far as music, and knowing that anything is possible, and that I still had a story to tell. So I try to embody that. Unfortunately, in that process, it was very hard to write, to be honest with you, because I lost a friend who over the summer was a cousin of my roommate, and we were very close when I first moved into my apartment. When I got back in fall of 13, we linked up, we were very close, and I ended up losing him this past summer of 14 or whatever. And it was just very hard to write. It was very hard to try to take this whole concept that I had of a forgotten poet trying to reestablish himself and tell the story that he's experienced, and the things that he's seen and stuff like that. So it took a lot of time to just be able to say you know what, I'm just gonna say what's on my chest. I'm not gonna structurally say this is what I want to say, or this is the type of song I want to have, or this is the type of name that I need to have, because I went through 3 different titles for this mixtape. I went from the Forgotten Poet to some other stuff that I can't really remember to Moment of Clarity. Moment of Clarity came in knowing that at the end of the day it's just about truth. And I feel like the title Moment of Clarity, you're finally seeing the truth, and that's what I've seen. So the tie back is just I'm rambling a little bit, but I had to just let my hand, my fingers, my pen, whatever how you want to put it, just go freely, and that's how I treated the semester in its entirety too. Because entering the semester, I was like, man, this whole relationship, trying to be in a relationship was not happening. I'm about to just go back to just out here freaking, being a hoe, low key, on the low, whatever, just being real with you. But ended up finding myself in a relationship halfway through the semester, still in that same relationship. I talked about, you know, trying to redefine myself as an artist. I've gained so much respect over the last semester in the sense of poetry and in the sense of just being an artist, because people really started seeing the work I started putting in as an actor that I picked up over the last year. As a poet, when I came out with the poem Gods, I get a lot of respect for that. And then, you know, there's a song, the song called Favorite We song. You were talking about it earlier before we sat down and actually started doing this interview about the flow in that song. You, Don, Ephraim, all said the same thing. They were just like, bro, my nigga, word, bro, just word, like props to you. And it's just that growth, and then like that just came from just letting myself be. It wasn't like, yo, I have to sound like these people, or I need to be more aggressive, or I need to be angry or something. It was just literally just being myself and letting myself go. So moment of clarity is like a moment of self-preservation, and being able to allow myself to breathe, and then allow myself to breathe, I can see clearly.
Okay. So yeah, let me double back, because you said a lot, and you said stuff that I wanted to talk about myself. You know, I wanted to question you about. So this is your 4th tape. Okay, this is your 4th tape, and I remember, like, I was going through my Facebook, and I looked at this time last year, December of 2013, and me posting something about your last tape. Like, so you're always consistent on making music. That's one thing that's definitely guaranteed with you. And still, to this day, you consider yourself, or even in your songs, you talk about poetry a lot. So let's go all the way back to your comments about poetry. For example, you say, poets made rapper, and rapper made actor. Through the evolution of art, I remain a factor. I remain a
poet made rapper, rapper made, a poet made rapper, rapper made actor. Through the evolution of art, I remain a factor.
Yeah, so you say that. So let's talk about why do you've been rapping for a while now, but you still consider yourself a poet. Why do you still consider yourself a poet even on your 4th tape?
When you really break down the music that I do today, or even that I did in the past, you still hear the essence of my poetry in my raps. You hear, like, yo, you have a unique style. It's not like you're not just completely just rhythmically just rapping. You still have this poetic sound in you. You still have, like, you know, poetry has this thing about having a passion in it. And when you hear my music, you hear passion over anything. You know, we used to have a problem. You know, you used to always tell me about, like, I don't take enough breaths in my raps, and I'm just being straight through. And it was just because of straight passion. I was just trying to get everything out, just got to get everything there. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, later I learned the structure and whatever, and then I used that to my advantage. I look at a Kendrick. Kendrick is a motherfucking dope rapper, hands down. He's just a poet over a beat. He knows when to drop his rhyming words in the structure of the pocket. But he's just spitting poems to you. And I would say I pride myself in trying to do that, but I have my unique style. My breaths now, you talk about breaths before, and you pay attention to how I take my breaths now and how I take my pauses. It's very unique. So the reason I say I'm still a poet today is because I never forgot what got me to this point. And when I say what got me to this point, it's what got me to write. Poetry is what got me to write. Very early on, you know, I said before, you know, when I first started writing, I started writing to try to write lyrics. But those lyrics are really poems, because they weren't structured. To be structured, that's you really rapping. Unstructured is poetry. It has no true form. You can write poems that don't rhyme. You can write poems that do rhyme. You can write poems that actually stories, and so on and so on. So I never forget where I come from. I never forget that my initial process of just being able to write, it just came from poetry. So I always just try to get credit to that.
Okay. So that's just one art form that you have under your title. So you talk about, okay, rapper made actor. When did that happen? Actor. You say you've been acting for the last year or so. And that's another aspect of you. Maybe you can mention a few words about that.
I grew up around my brother and my sisters. They were always in the thespian, group, in the drama club and stuff like that. They were always acting. I always, looked at it with a very interesting eye. When I was up at FAM, because I graduated, shout out to class of 2014 and whatnot. But when I was up at FAM, Yesenia was part of a group called the Black Actors Guild. And around 2011, I went to a play that she did or whatever. And from then I told her, yo, I was very interested. I actually want to get into it. I never got into it until 2013 came around. And she was at Black on Black Line. She made an announcement about it. She was like, yo, we're holding auditions for a play. I never went. She came to an open mic. I was like, yo, I missed it. What's up? Can I come through? She was like, come to rehearsals. I came to rehearsals that night, and everything was history. So it was just something I always wanted to do. It's always something I wanted to have in my repertoire. I just never got around doing it.
Do you think it influenced your music?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I never thought about it like that. But to really think about it, I think it influenced my music just passionately, because I'm very passionate about acting. I'm more passionate about music. But I mean, people tell me I have more of a gift in acting. Right? To me, I take it a little personal, because I love music so much. It evokes so much emotion for me, and I'm such an emotional person who needs to be driven by emotion. So when you tell me I should be doing this instead of this, I take it a little personal. But I think it just made me more passionate. It made me realize how artistic and how talented I really am, and it made me realize that I'm capable of doing anything, and I'm capable of lasting the test of time.
Cool.
To be real with you.
Cool. So now, tape number 4. Not only have you mastered the skills that you already have, you introduced more arts and talents into your repertoire. So that just means that there's been growth. So define growth.
Define growth.
And do you think you've grown as an artist? And define growth. In what ways have you grown as an artist?
I pride myself on growth. I pride myself on development. I can sit here and be like, yo, I've literally grown. If you haven't seen it, you're an idiot. But I'd rather other people tell me that I've grown. And the reason I say that is because I make what I make, and I put it out for you to tell me, to come back and for you to tell me that I've actually grown. So to define growth, it is consistently moving forward without moving backwards. That's exactly what it is for me. I think that when you go tape by tape, that's honestly what you see, because that's what I try to invoke in my music. I try to invoke growth. I try to tell you what I did before and tell you what I'm on now and what I'm about to do next. And when you get to the next level and you get to where, like, I'm about to show you what's next, I prove it to you. I'm an arrogant motherfucker, to be real with you. I'm a Pisces. I'm very confident, I'm very passionate, I'm very ambitious, I'm very driven. We're a water sign, and Pisces are fishes, and you get to all the ocean shit. We can't be confined, we can't be contained, or whatever. But all in all I have is time, all I have is opportunity, and all I have is a place to be able to put forth that opportunity. So like I said, just growth is consistently moving forward without moving backwards.
Great.
And I think I showed that.
That's a great definition. And you have. Your flow has grown. And then, like, again, not only do you make stuff to put out, you make it all on your own, majority of the time. So let's talk about the production of this tape. Like, who helped? What did you do? Who assisted? Who featured? Things along those lines.
Well, everything is recorded from out of my room. To be real with you, and to say who helped, just quick shout outs, like shout out to Kashim, shout out to Robert, Otis, shout out to Michael Terrellian Harris. He hates when I do that, but shout out to T.Y. Harris, shout out to Andre Hakeem Furious, shout out to Intricate and Ephraim. You know, I'm giving out names. I'm giving out real names and stage names, so just in case you don't know them in that sense. But you should, because they're gonna blow up anyways. Shout out to Zenubia. Shout out to yourself, Deresny, Madame Prez. Shout out to people who actually, I probably never talked about the mixtape with them. I probably never sat down and shot them beats or taught them like what I'm doing. But shout out to Bria, people like Bria, and just because I think about how, I would love to have Bria on a track because she's a female and she always loves to rap, and I'm such down for female rappers. I've always loved female rappers. I always try to put female rappers on. So, you know, she inspires me every day. She has a shout out in the song, just like my whole Underdog clique and everything like that. But the production has been very hands-on myself. Like, I mix myself, I pick the beats myself. You know, the reason I say shout out to Kashim is a producer. He does a lot of beats. It's definitely someone that you might want to link up with if you're an artist yourself and whatnot, if you're watching this interview. But you know, not many beats in this project from him. But I mean, the intention for him to produce this project was there. We tried to make it, just didn't work out for whatever reason. But it's much love. What other features, man? Shout out to Alicia, a new Voices member, dope, straight out of Miami, very poetic. Who else? Shout out to.
So, with the was there like a certain type of feel that you were trying to get out of this project when you were putting together the productions, when you were producing the beats?
I literally wanted to tell a story, so the beats and the production was supposed to be very mellow, very where you can just literally sit back, you can roll up a J, you can pour your brown. You know what I'm saying? Take a shot, you know, just chill. If you're sick, got a snotty nose over here, and you just need to just like, I can't even go out tonight, I just want to chill. I just want to some deep shit, some conscious shit. It was literally for that type of vibe, that vibe for like just listening to a story, hearing something that's real. If you ever question what Voices was ever about, my project gives you that. It gives you the sense of a poet that's traveled through time and has been tested throughout time and has overcome so much things in his lifetime. So the whole project in this production, I mean, it's literally been me, but besides that, it's been a project of storytelling and providing truth about what you might have heard about. You know, you hear about Voices, you hear where they come from, you hear the people within Voices and what they might have done. Well, here's a personal account of the people of what he's witnessed of these people in this organization.
Okay, so let's talk about that song, where you not only talk about Voices, but you talk about your college experience. What's the name of the song again?
Which one? What are you referring to?
The song that you shout out all the members.
Oh, it's called Right Now.
Right Now.
Right Now.
So let's talk about Right Now.
It's fucking crazy. I literally wrote the song probably like 8 days ago, and not to put too much out there, you know. When you're a part of a family, you know, things come up, you know, problems are presented, and you know you have to take action, and you have to provide a solution for these problems within the family. You know, family always have their issues. There's always bumping heads or whatever. So I wrote this song to directly express and show what this organization has meant to me. Because, I mean, the project in itself is supposed to be a representation of not only my life in college, but what my organization has meant to me. And I felt like I lacked the song where I directly go into the actual details of this history. So right now it's supposed to be a direct representation of the history and what these people have meant to me and what they meant to my growth and my development as an artist and as a person and as a whole.
Yeah, I see you like talk about all we had was each other, so we slept together. Whole bunch of people at UG. For people who don't know what UG is, it's University Gardens. It's a apartment complex near Florida A&M. you talk about, all these like times and struggles. So name like your favorite time with your organization, with Voices Poetry Group. Your favorite time or the most memorable time.
I have so many though. Like it's so
What?
hard to pick. Though. I
What?
gotta pick one though. You're putting me on the spot. If I had to pick one, I hate you.
Okay.
I hate you. I hate you.
I don't care.
Man, I gotta pick one, bro.
Yeah.
Man,
the first one that comes to your head should take the song.
Oh my God! The first one that comes to my head is Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta Slam.
There you go. There you go.
When my underdogs were tied with the Dream Team.
Yeah.
With Wendell, Curtis, Mike, Jono, and then you got the underdogs, which is Snapback, Reasonable Doubt, which is Simone, Breezy Day, which is Bria, excuse me. Autumn, you got Matt. Am I forgetting anybody? Snapback. It was a semester after I was coaching the underdogs, and they got eliminated out of the first round. But the following semester they came back at the Atlanta Slam that Derek was hosting, and they tied for first place with the Dream Team, and it was just very. It was just like I said, I'm an emotional guy. It was just very emotional in a proud type of way to see a group of freshmen that I was able to coach come in, and leave their mark. It was also a time where our organization was bringing things back to the school, even though, off the record, I don't really be funding us or nothing like that. We be bringing these type of titles back to the school. It was just a very good time. It was good to see young people growing. It was good to see a organization coming together and just having fun. You know what I'm saying? It's probably one of the first time us as a whole was able to get out off of campus and go traveling as as an organization and just have so much fun and represent our school.
Okay, so let's talk about another song. Let's talk about favorite lead song, right? That's the name of it. Okay, so you guys you rap on the XXYY XXB, right? XXYY. Well, originally it's XXYY.
Oh yeah, XX. No, you're right.
Okay.
Right. It's XXYY.
And then SZA and Chance got a song on it. So a lot of people been rapping on this beat, and you have a lot of features. So can you talk about like the features that's on that song, and then how you wrote your verse? Because when you have a song with a full of features, sometimes you take away your shine. Sometimes you take away attention from you because there are other people who are rapping. But you start off really, really top heavy. You start off really strong. So talk about your features and talk about what you wrote.
First off, the features. We have Kashim Ray, we have Hakeem Furies, we have Picasso, and we have Talicia. First of all, shout out to Raphael for telling me to get on this song. I never thought about doing that, but shout out to her. The features, we were all, man, it was me, Kashim, Otis, Rob. We were all over the summer. We was chilling with Vina, and we came up, like, I was like, yo, I have a song, I want to make a weed song. I think this would be the dope song to make a weed song too. And we came across it, and we was like, yo, this should be definitely a song where everybody comes through, and it's like a rotation. We light the joint. You got your moment when you got the joint, you say your piece, you hit the joint, you pass it, and then it's the next person to give their perspective of their favorite weed song, hence the title and whatnot. So, eventually, the people that are on it is the people that were able to come through and was able to lay down the tracks. My verse. The beat and the way it flows was nothing I ever did before, and I literally, it was the day I wrote it, it was just me and Kashim, and we were in my room. He was writing his verse, I was writing mine, and I probably only had like 2 lines, and he was like already 3/4 done with his verse, and I was just like, how do I freaking like just do me on this verse, like, and whatever. And it was just I took my time. Like, there's no secret to what I did. I just took my time. I listened to it. I figured out a way to say what I wanted to say in a verse. And I mean, what I spoke about in the verse was really just, you know, that moment where like you're probably at a party, or you're probably at a social, or you're probably at a social, and there's this girl that you've already had this type of connection with. She happens to be there, and you're talking to her in her ear, and you're like, yo, I'm digging you. Like, what's good though? Stop having all these doubts. Let a nigga slide with it. Let a nigga slide. Not just like sex wise, but as me and you hooking up on a big level, in the sense of relationship, and even the whole sexual thing. But it was just that whole moment. You're at the social, you're at the club, you're at the party, and you're talking in this girl ear, and you're making her understand you're that nigga for her, and you let her know what you've been through, and this is why me and you should be together and whatnot.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Definitely saw that, and taking your time can always make things better. I mean, time heals all. Time makes things better. I mean, so that's true. That's really nice to hear that. I think that's great advice for these up and coming rappers.
Shout out to Joyce. I love you.
Who's Joyce?
Joyce is my main. It's my.
Your main? There's others?
Main, no, like, you gotta let me finish, because you about to get me in trouble. She's my main. She's my best friend. She is my friend. She is like my sister in a sense, not in a nasty way, motherfuckers. But she's my everything. She's everything to me, and I love her dearly. That's who Joyce is. Shout out to you, baby.
Oh, that's awesome. Talk about people you love and loved ones. I do believe you have a song called Right On.
Right On or Right Now?
Is it not? There's a song that you...
Oh, Right On Time.
Right On Time. There you go.
Right On Time.
There's, on Right On Time, you talk about your father.
Interesting.
You talk about your father in Right On Time. Oh, okay, now I see what I wrote in my notes. And y'all relationship. So would you like to, go into some details about what really inspired you to mention that? Sometimes, often you hear a lot about moms in songs, but you don't really hear much about fathers. So that really stood out to me.
Surprisingly, I've never been the artist to really dap into my, what do they call it? Your immediate family. Is that what they say? Your immediate family, your brothers, your sisters, your mom, and your dad. I've never been that artist to actually dap into that and whatnot. So I never wrote a poem about my moms. I never wrote a poem about my dad. I never wrote a poem about my brothers and sisters, only because they haven't died yet. So there's so much more to be told. I can't just write a poem now and then like there's still like 30, 40 more years of stuff that I could have put in that poem. So I'd rather let the time come.
You saved that. They haven't died yet, but you saved it. I see where you're coming from.
You know what I'm saying? But I mentioned my mom and my dad. I mean, I didn't just mention my dad, but I love them dearly. They mean a lot to me, and I'm not someone that did not grow up with my father, but due to like his job and things that I aspired to be, like I always wanted to be a baseball player. I probably could have been a legit baseball player if I had the right discipline from someone who's played the game and someone that can actually, teach you the actual fundamental tools and not just, think like, I just got the skills for it. Someone that actually sit down and put me through the process. So I was just expressing the whole, like, I have you, but you wasn't really here for me. I have you, but you wasn't really here for me type of thing. So it was just mainly that, and just expressing like I love you, and though I've had so many great moments with you, there's still a lot of moments where you wasn't here. And because I'm the youngest and my brothers and sisters had me by 5-6 years, I never was in school with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't in middle school with them. I didn't go to high school with them. So I couldn't just learn from their mistakes. I had to make my own mistakes and learn from myself and whatnot. And the same thing with my father. There's so many great moments, but there was a lot of moments that I didn't have with him. I never had the sex talk. I never had what it was to be a man talk. I didn't know what to expect from college because he's an immigrant parent, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like he knows the culture of American college and universities, going to school in America and stuff like that. So it was just me just giving a token of my appreciation to my father, because the last line, I say, what the fuck do I say? basically I say, one day we'll sit back, play some dominoes, sipping on some Johnny Walker, on some Jack, some Johnny Walker. That's really what that was.
Yeah, playing dominoes. You did say that in your last song.
Oh, and that song. It's just a token of appreciation.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So you see a lot of different stuff, but this piece definitely, and all the pieces that you've created, all the tapes and projects that you've put out in the past, you've always tried your best to inspire, right? You've always tried your best to inspire. So why is it important for you to use your music for inspiration for others?
I'm not better than anybody. I'm really not. I'm just myself. But I won't be ignorant to the fact that there's not people before me. I mean, after me.
Hey, you could play this in on the song Look.
Look Up?
Yeah, on Look Up.
Okay, I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact there's not people that come after me. And when I say that, I'm literally talking to my organization. There's people where I'm a founding member. Let's get that clear. I'm a founding member. I'm a part of what Voices is. I help define what Voices is, doing just me and being myself, just like Kayla would have been herself and defining Voices within her being herself, or Mike or Quisha or whatnot. So I'm not ignorant to the fact that there's people after me. So being inspirational is something that I've always wanted to be, because I've always wanted little brothers and sisters, and I have that. I have little brothers and sisters, so I can't be selfish with my music and just talk about clothes, or talk about how dope my rhymes are, or talk about how I'm going to be the greatest of all time, and not show you why I'm going to be the greatest of all time. So that's why a lot of my song has that tone or that undertone. And you mentioned Look Up. Look Up is more of a general type of inspirational song, because I'm talking about I don't know, like Mike Brown's situation, and just how black leaders today are not really actual heroes. You listen to J. Cole. Like, where are our real true black heroes of today, for modern today? Because Al Sharpton in what's his name? Al Sharpton in the motherfucking Jesse Jackson, Reggie Jackson. What is it? Jesse Jackson, the motherfucking Al Sharpton cannot just keep popping up out of nowhere when shit go wrong for us black people. Like, they're not really here for us. That's just fame for them. Al Sharpton has a fucking show on MSNBC and whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's for us to understand where we stand as black people. It's for us to understand we have a voice. At the end of the day, my whole music and what I try to inspire you to understand is we have a voice, and because you have a voice, nobody can't tell you that you can't take a poem, you can't take a song, you can't take a blank sheet of paper and draw something to express something. You never let nobody tell you can't do shit. I'm the most arrogant motherfucker when it comes to you tell me I can't do nothing. You can never tell me no. You tell me no, I'ma definitely fucking prove you wrong. And I take heed of that, because we wasn't put, in my personal opinion, we wasn't put on this earth to just waste time and to sit here and not make something of ourselves at the end of the day. So, that's why being inspirational is very important to me, because I'm not selfish to the people that are listening to me.
Okay.
Before we move on, just real talk, I have to say this. Marcus is my homeboy. He stayed 2 blocks from here. This nigga has heard every song that I've ever made. He raps every song. Low key, he might know the lyrics better to my songs than I know myself. But it's for him though. You know what I'm saying? Someone that I tried to get into college and unfortunately was unsuccessful. But this nigga listens to my music and is able to apply it to his life. So I know even if I'm not getting 100 fucking plays or 1,000 plays like other people in my circle and my peers, I know my music is affecting and touching other people. Shout out to Zenubia for that too.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, yeah, and it all takes time. Artists that are on the radio now, you feel me? Drake wasn't always getting 100 plays. There was a point where nobody wanted to hear him. Same thing comes to Cole. How many times have you and J. Cole are practically in the same? You were in the same shoes as he was in the past. For example, he dropped his mixtapes come up, warm up, graduated, and was like, I'm done, you know, and just was like, oh no, I'm gonna blow up, and that's not the real picture, because guess what, he didn't get signed, people were still turning him away. So granted, that's true, but I do feel like you're using technology to your advantage right now. So and with you having these outlets to put up your projects such as SoundCloud and Bandcamp and your own website where you could put up your work and you could keep, you know, create and gather your fan base, you know, this is allowing you to grow, right? So one of your songs you say that people may say that you sound like Lupe, okay? And now that you have grown from the first El Nino, right? The first mixtape where you was burning CDs and writing down the tracks with a Sharpie. I remember that mixtape, and you was staying in the crib, 209 MLK Boulevard,
South MLK,
and we was making music in the closet. Okay.
To this day, I'm in the closet right now.
You feel well, not with this technology, not with these mics and stuff like that. You have a basic mic, GarageBand. That okay, so that Christian, that El Nino, right? And who this person is now. So, if you were to say from where you started to who you are now, who would you say you sound like now? If you would have to put an artist. Now we know who you are, but who would you say that people? Yeah, and what? Or you could also say like what common people have been saying, like, oh, you sound like this, and you know.
I sound like I'm hungry, first of all.
Okay.
That's off rip and ambition and driven. Because I haven't given up. Like, you know, you talk about, you know, being back at the crib, you know, 2009 South MLK or whatever in Italy. You talk about being in the closet. I mean, those days was a lot more fun than what it is now. Honestly, it was, because there wasn't. The music scene back then compared to how it was now, it was non-existent. You know what I'm saying? So all you had was yourself and your own thoughts. You didn't have this whole outside world of your peers or whatever. But besides all that, like, you know, besides just, you know, sounding like I'm ambitious and I'm hungry, I mean, I sound like the people who I'm motivated by, man. Like the two main people is Wale and J. Cole, man. Wale for the chip on your shoulder and the grittiness and in my raps, I get it from Wale. I get the whole, like, yo, I'm the best from Wale. And then the J. Cole is the authenticity and the genuineness and the truth, and to tell you these stories and to tell you, like, yo, anything is possible.
Okay. You know, and the reason I say that is because in J. Cole's recent interview with Combat Jack, he talks about developing his voice and things like that. And he talks about how he had to go back and listen to early Nas and how early Nas sound like Rakim, and it took him a while for him to get his own flow. And what people, I don't know why artists think that the moment they come out, the moment they start their journey into this industry, they gotta be hot. It don't work that way. You know, it takes time, it takes growth, and that's why I keep on, you know, reiterating the concept of growth or whatever, because this is your fourth tape. But this definitely shows growth. And every project that you drop is always showing growth. It's always showing some sort of improvement, because like Drake says, there's always room for improvement, right? So here's my next question for you. Is you have a song that talks about, it's called My Name? No, it's called
Your Name.
Your Name. Alright, it's called Your Name. And you start describing yourself and stuff like that. But what's so funny, when I listened to that, I was like, yo, but this dude got like 3 or 4 names, right? Like, you have about 3 aliases. You're El Nino, you're the Kid Clever, you're Sleepy Hurricane. You have all these aliases, and for someone who knows you and, you know, we've seen all this side, so what does your name or your names mean to you? And you can go ahead.
That's the first time I ever heard that question.
Oh, okay.
So, but to be real with you, when you really sit here and think about it, when you think about El Nino and you think about Christian, or you think about Chris, or you think about Clever, or you think about Sleepy Hurricane, what's the common thing with all that name? It's the emotional creature that he is. You know, you think of a Nino, and you think of like El Nino is based off of a hurricane, you know, in the canal in Panama or whatever, Mexico or whatever. And you think about how powerful a storm is. You think about, you can easily relate that to how passionate I am. You know what I'm saying? You know, you think of a sleepy hurricane. You know, you can make fun of me about how many times I used to go to sleep after we used to smoke or whatever. But I mean, I used to go to sleep anywhere, you know, and that's just a tribute to my confidence and how I just didn't give a fuck. And that's just how driven I am to, like, I would do anything that it takes. So just that continuous passion to do what it takes to be who I am and be comfortable with it all. You know, even just, you know, if you know me just as Chris, and you know that I'm not a shy person. I'm the type of person to walk up to anybody and ask them anything. And whatnot.
That's awesome. So here's one of my last questions to you. So in one of your songs, you talked about how you so real. You so real. Why are you so real?
Everything I ever talked about, or talk about, whatever, in current, present day, whatever, it's all there. It's literally, everything is direct. Nothing is too metaphorical or too where, like, yo, did he say that? Like, or am I tripping? No, it's not that. I literally say what I want to say. You know, Mike used to always tell me, you know, you can't be too direct, you can't be metaphorical, but you got to be more metaphorical. But I literally felt like if I wanted to express something and I really wanted you to understand what I'm saying and what I'm trying to express, then I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. And that's why I always said I'm so real, because one, I'm honest. Two, I never sugarcoat anything. And three, I tell you exactly how it is. I don't ever have to say it a certain way not to offend you. I just think that if I'm being real with you, then you shouldn't be offended, because I'm letting you know exactly how it is. I'm putting it out all on the table for you.
Alright, so if you were to, just to close out this interview, what is your last words about this tape, about Moment of Clarity? What is your last words, last phrases?
I think that when you listen to it from start to finish one time, and you go back and you do the same thing and listen to it start to finish, you understand the concept of trusting yourself. Understanding that being clear comes from trusting yourself. So I mean, just the whole mixtape and Moment of Clarity is genuinely understanding who you are. I tell my story in this project, and I tell you the things that I've been through, and I clarify certain things because I want to let you know who I really am and the things that I've really seen. So this whole mixtape is about trusting yourself and expressing what you are really about.
Wow, that's good. I hope that the listeners take their time and, like you instructed, and listen again. And, you know, take it in as something that's going to be beneficial to their mind, and not something that's just going to invoke, you know, emotions and just wanting to party and things along those lines. So that's awesome. I think that's great.
Thank you.
That's great. You want me to ask a question?
Yeah,
okay, so in the song Return of the Sun, you have a speaker at the end. In addition to a feature on that song. But can you tell us who's the speaker at the end of the song, and why did you feel it was important for you to have that excerpt?
The speaker at the end of the Return of the Sun is Malcolm X, and it's a clip from when he was talking about how the black community is not one who hates everybody or doesn't love everybody. You know, we love the people that love us, but you know, if you don't love us, if you show hate towards us, then we're not gonna like you, because you don't show us the equal respect and whatnot. And we're only violent when we need to be violent, when you're being violent with us. So it's like I mean, I don't know if you might look at it like an eye for an eye type of thing, but in a sense of like, we must protect our own. You know what I'm saying? When you sit here, you're not gonna let anybody just walk up in your house and slap your mother. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care if you're Obama. You're not gonna walk up in my house and slap my mama. You just not. Obama, you gonna get checked just like any other person. So
That's so true.
I just felt it was very much needed in that song because the song in itself, you know, I expressed thoughts about Miami, and I expressed, you know, how Miami back in the day, in the late '60s, maybe early '70s, it was a place for people to retire at, and the whole, you know, Miami went from the whole Benjamin Button line, and going from a you know, a retirement home to a scene of seduction and stuff like that. You know, Miami went from this whole atmosphere of being where people used to retire at to where you had the cocaine cowboys and this whole, you know, flood of drugs and killings. You know, before there was Chicago and 400 murder counts, there was Miami in the 80s with 600 something kills a month. You know what I'm saying? So we have, you know, Chicago always gets criticized for black kids killing black kids, or you know, black people putting guns on police officers, or police officers pulling. I just wanted to clarify the whole, like, there's no real hatred unless you put hatred on the table, in the sense of, like, you know, a dog is not gonna bite you unless you aggravate it. You aggravate it enough, it's gonna bite back. You know what I'm saying? But if you give it love and you give it kindness, it's your best friend. And that's kind of what I was hoping to, like, you know, display and show with that clip.
Okay. That's it. That's it.
Pretty it?
Yeah.
Any personal thoughts though? Like, you know.
Oh no, I think it was, what I've heard so far is really nice. Like you said, it is something that's mellow, something that you sit down when you have time, like when you're cleaning your room, or you on a road trip or something like that, where you just need to just chill, relax. You got time. It's a great. It sounds like it's gonna be a great project for you to pick up and just click play and just listen to. So much growth and improvement, so much, and I think that's where you win. That's where you win. I feel like Grammys and all these awards should be given to people who have shown some sort of growth, because it's so easy for you to stick to your same routine and not move forward an inch. And you know, sometimes your same routine could be good, sometimes it could be bad, but you want to always grow, and I think this project shows again how you stepped up a distance. You've created a distance from who you were in the past to who you are now. A lot of love to you for trying to do this and juggling so much other stuff in your life. That's why I picked up the college part. Like, I don't think I could come out with no mixtape my senior year, my last semester of college. Oh no.
It honestly was not easy. I mean, you know, juggling the death of a friend, and then juggling, like, do I really want to graduate in this early, or, you know, picking up a relationship, and man, when I got with Joyce, I didn't make a song. I didn't make a song. I didn't make a song from early October. I got with her probably like late October, until, like, the next time I made a song was until after I graduated and I got down here in Miami, and I made what did I make? I mean, I made Right Now recently, but just even writing, I had so much on my plate. You know, I was doing the mahogany voices for the Black Actors Guild, and that took a lot of my time. You know, I had to be at rehearsals a lot, and I had to write a poem for them. You know, besides doing Will I Run and doing the little skits for them, I had to write another poem, and I wasn't in a position to be writing another poem. You know, I wrote Guys in the spring of 2014, and that Mahogany Voices was in the fall of 14, which is, you know, there's a summer in between that and whatever. So I wasn't really in this whole poetry mood, and to be honest with you, I haven't been in the poetry vibe in a very long time, and even right now, I'm still not in that poetry vibe. I haven't been in a poetry vibe where I've written a writer's block, or a Forever in My Heart, or, you know, This Is Where I Stand. and This Is Where I Stand was on my first mixtape. It's the very last track. It's a poem.
That's true.
I haven't been there. I've been trying to master and own up to this art form of music and understand how to evoke emotion the same way I did with poetry through a sound and through a rhythm and whatnot. Just awesome. I mean, like, so this whole mixtape, besides it just being my own story, this is literally for you younger folks after me. These younger folks who are currently in voices, who are currently trying to understand who you are as a writer. At the end of your name, I mentioned I'm just a lone soldier who's still fighting for all my forgotten poets that are still writing. You know, and it's very important to me because that's who I was. I was someone who was forgotten as a poet because he was doing so many other things and forgot how great he was as a poet. You know what I'm saying? In my own respects. In my own respects, because I'm not sitting here saying I'm as great as I'm so great that, you know, I'm so much better than a Kayla Dumas who wrote Libations, or who wrote hip hop, or I'm better than a Mike who wrote Fireworks, or I'm better than a Deresny who wrote her Drake poem, her mom's poem, or better than a Derek who wrote, you know, his poem about Jasmine, or, you know, stuff like that. Like, I get personal like that because I don't try to take anything from any other poet, but at the end of the day, they do give me my respect. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only passionate about that because I'm amongst people and I hear it. I hear the chit chat. If it's not even about me, I hear it about other people. I've been here long enough to see you grow. The resident to see you grow, to see Mike grow, to see people like Sharika, who probably has never performed in her life, grow, to see the whole Capital 16 grow. Regardless of, you know, my individual relationships with each person, to see a Chris grow, to see a Caleb grow, to see a Alex grow, to see a JB grow. You know, I remember JB used to be at open mics and wouldn't get up and go perform. Every other open mic, I was like, JB, today's the day? Nah, not today. JB, today's the day? Nah, not today. You know what I'm saying? So, this mixtape is literally for you to hear my story and be like, oh, what's my story? He was so raw and so open about his own story. It should make you think about your own story. It makes you think about what's your position in life right now. It should make you think about where you're at school, and where you're at with poetry, and where you're at with your own life and whatnot. And it's really just one of those mixtapes. You see something of someone else, and it makes you think about yourself, type of thing. So I mean, with all that, you know, Moment of Clarity, March 15th. Nino, the Clay Cover, Sleepy Hurricane, you already know. Just enjoy it, you know. It's nothing to be like, you know, put me above the next rapper. It's really just to take it in for yourself. That's really what it is. Moment of Clarity.